And sometimes I feel like they're here for Chicago more than New York sometimes because they support us so much here on the road. The road games feel like home.
48%. That's how far WNBA All-Star tickets fell in a single day. Once Indiana Fever phenom Caitlin Clark admitted her groin would keep her out of the July 19 showcase on her home court. Resellers who'd banked on record demand slashed listings from $121 to $64 just to dump inventory, while bars on Georgia Street sent extra staff home before the dinner rush. The message was brutal and crystal clear. No Clark, no crowd. Now picture the very next morning. Billboards explode across downtown Indianapolis featuring Angel Reese beaming in Reebok pink beside the words, "Walk in your trap, take over your trap." On social, she punctuates it with, "I'm in your city, why I." The swagger was meant to crown her sneaker launch, but with Clark sidelined, the stunt felt like shadow boxing in an empty arena, and the backlash lit up TikTok in minutes. If you're tired of surface-level hot takes and want the receipts behind every boom and bust moment in women's hoops, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's dive straight into the real numbers. Months earlier, city officials had sold All-Star Weekend as the tipping point that would shove the W into the mainstream. TickPick tracked an average purchase price of $262, highest in league history, before the injury news hit. Hotels spiked rates 30%, ESPN rolled out primetime bumpers, Nike teased a limited edition Clark Home White, and Reebok quietly reserved July 19 for Angel Reese's marketing takeover. For local restaurants, the itinerary looked better than March Madness. Front office optimism also rode a separate high. A freshly minted $2.2 billion, 11-year media deal with Disney, Amazon Prime, and NBCU, set to pump 125 games a year onto national screens starting 2026. League brass toasted the contract as proof women's hoops had arrived. But every toast relied on one assumption: Clark would be healthy enough to headline. Indianapolis city planners had literally shaken hands on sponsorship extensions, expecting Clark Reese to deliver the league's most watched telecast ever. They installed extra Wi-Fi nodes in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. They approved overtime for transit police. The skyline itself wore a 40-foot Clark banner that said simply, "Homegrown." And then, July 17th, the rookie phenom aggravated the same groin that cost her 4 games in June. The fallout was immediate. TickPick's heat map cooled in real time. A Friday morning push alert from NBA Central screamed, negative 48%, and within hours, the resale floor cratered to $64. One fan posted, "Got 2 on section, 109 face 145 will eat the loss if anyone just takes them." But the groin tweak didn't just torch tickets, it vaporized a local commerce boom. Visit Indy Revised projected tourist spend from $9.7 million to under $5 million after Clark's withdrawal, citing booking cancellations at mid-tier hotels within a 10-mile radius. Restaurant supply reps told the Indianapolis Star they returned kegs to distributors by Saturday afternoon. Every economist from Bleacher Report to Sports Biz Journal pointed to one culprit, a league too reliant on a single rookie. And that's the vacuum Angel Reese swaggered into. Reebok banners blazing, soundtrack bumping.
Angel Reese, I'm in your city. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. Post it on Instagram. There's about 15 fans there and Reebok put up a board. You would expect Reebok to put up a board. Let's never forget that when let's never forget the gigantic Caitlin Clark Nike billboard in Chicago. Let's never forget that. So if Reebok didn't put up a board for Angel Reese.
Reebok's internal slide deck labeled the campaign The Takeover. The thesis? Light up Clark's turf, claim the conversation, sell sneakers. 8-story banners wrapped circle center, each bearing Angel's folded arms pose and the bankroll fresh lyric that doubles as her caption. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. The Instagram reel dropped at 9 a.m. The audio hit 1.6 million plays before lunch. But social sentiment flips fast when the arena seats under that banner are half-priced. Clark's fans pounced, stitching the reel with screenshots of crashing prices. One TikTok cracked 2 million views with the line, "How you take over a city when the tourists already took refunds." Still, Reebok brass defended the move. Shaquille O'Neal, now the brand's president of hoops, told CNBC's sports segment The Billboard, "Proved Angel knows how to own a moment." Yet internal sentiment tools disagreed. A YouGov overnight poll revealed 68% of casual fans called the timing bad or opportunistic, while a mere 19% called it confident. The market noticed. Share of voice data from Talkwalker logged a 480% spike in negative mentions tied to the hashtag number "I'm in your city." And Reebok quietly trimmed pre-order targets by more than a third, per an internal memo first cited by Sports Illustrated. Reese, undeterred, doubled down on X. "If the shoe fits, lace it up." She reposted a montage of putbacks against the Mercury, slapped Bayou Barbie emojis on top, and watched the ratio climb. For every defender yelling, "Queen Energy," 2 replies hit back with clown gifs. And the optics storm had barely settled before 22 All-Stars peeled off warm-ups to unveil a brand new protest. Saturday, 10 minutes before tip-off, every All-Star hit the hardwood in a stark black tee that declared in foot-high block letters, "Pay us what you owe us." The shirts were WNBPA President Nneka Ogwumike's brainchild. Finalized at an 8:30 a.m. Players-only breakfast after back-channel CBA talks with Commissioner Kathy Engelbert fizzled. The goal? A unified gut check ahead of October's labor deadline. The message? Undeniable. The timing? Brutal. Thousands of fans had just watched their $262 seats lose half their value and were now being told the product deserved a raise. Reddit's RWNBA pinned a thread titled "Wrong Fight, Wrong Day," climbing 3,000 comments in 2 hours. One ticket holder wrote, "Love the cause. Hate that I just ate $400. Engelbert called the display a healthy show of solidarity at halftime, but conceded the economic reality illuminated by this weekend. Translation: leverage wanes when your gate mover is in street clothes. Even Clark herself, hoodie pulled over her brace, told reporters, "Yes, we should be paid more, but value has to line up with what we bring in." Her candor landed louder than any t-shirt. ESPN cameras lingered as fans erupted into an impromptu chant, "Pay the players." But sponsors on club-level suites typed frantic emails. They'd bought signage packages priced for Clark-level ratings. Now a protest threatened to upstage the broadcast. And while labor tensions simmered, Angel Reese faced a numbers crisis of her own. 7 technicals and counting. With 22 regular season games in the books, Reese already owned 7 technical fouls, most in the league, and 1 shy of an automatic suspension plus lost game check. According to across the timeline data cited by Fox News, Shakira Austin ranks 2nd with 5. Translation: Reese is lapping the field in whistle trouble. Chicago Sky Analytics confirm why that's terrifying. When Reese sits, the Sky's offensive efficiency plunges from 103 points per 100 possessions to 90, and their point differential swings -13. They've gone 1-7 without her, including 4 30-point drubbings. Coaches are quietly begging her to dodge one more whistle, especially with nationally televised dates looming. Commentators also flag the optics. How do you argue for higher salaries while risking fines you can control? Reese counters that emotion is part of her brand, but league officials hint the automatic suspension rule exists to protect sponsors from exactly this unpredictability. The broader fear? Another major draw disappearing just as the league tries to prove it isn't a one-star show. ESPN's studio desk even joked, "Imagine both Reese and Clark on DNP lines in the same week. There goes the Nielsen bump." Which brings us back to math, because 2025 women's hoops is a balance sheet dressed like a soap opera. Strip away billboards, protest tees, and highlight reels, and you land on one uncomfortable variable. Clark equals demand. TickPick analysts plotted resale price against Clark's minutes this season. The R-squared sits above 0.80, almost unprecedented for front office sports. Her absence doesn't dent interest. It chops it in half. The phenomenon isn't new. Economist David Barry coined the term superstar scarcity to explain why one athlete can warp revenue curves. Lionel Messi did it to MLS, Serena to Grand Slam broadcasts. Clark is doing it to an entire league still hunting its second mainstream star. The blessing: she makes sponsors write checks with zero precedent. The curse: a single muscle fiber can erase a $10 million tourist projection. That fragility terrifies marketers. League survival depends on diversifying headliners. Fast. Las Vegas still touts Aja Wilson's dynasty. New York brandishes Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. Phoenix sells Brittany Griner dunks. Yet none cross algorithms like Clark, who trends on Wall Street bets as often as on SportsCenter. Internal memos leaked to The Athletic reveal expansion committees modeling risk scenarios. What if Clark misses 25% of 2026 with a stress fracture? One slide posited franchise valuations plummeting 30% absent her Q rating. Investors circled cities like Denver and Nashville, but only at valuations that assume Clark still drives national windows. Meanwhile, young rookies, Paige Buchers, and Juju Watkins loom as possible co-pillars, but they're at least a season out. The W hasn't time to wait. So the horizon matters. And here's how 2026 could rewrite every bottom line. The 11-year media deal becomes active next spring, funneling 125 games onto ABC, ESPN, NBC, USA, Peacock, and Prime Video. Estimated annual rights fee, $200 million. Production costs aside, that dwarfs the league's prior $33 million pact and instantly lifts salary cap forecasts. NBCU is already beta testing a Sunday WNBA Red Zone whip-around to mimic NFL scoring chaos in real time. Clark's rehab schedule has her cleared for January minicamp. Reese's Angel Reese won Me Bounds finally lands retail in April. Reebok promises a more collaborative rollout after Billboard blowback. And expansion drafts could be green-lit by September. The math suggests each new club will pay $75 to $90 million just to join, injecting immediate liquidity into revenue-sharing pools. But only if ratings hold. And ratings, history now shows, hinge on star availability. One network executive joked off record, "We added charter flights to keep players fresher." Next step is bubble wrap around number 22. Jokes, sure, but consider. If Clark missed All-Star, what happens if she tweaks the groin again during the first Prime Video exclusive window? In short, the league is building an empire on a golden foundation that cracks if its architect misses a day of practice. Which is why this entire roller coaster delivers one blunt takeaway. A pulled groin doesn't usually reshape economies. Yet one flare-up in July slashed ticket values nearly in half, exposed $1 million marketing misfire, and turned a celebration of progress into a referendum on fair pay. The same weekend underscored the WNBA's greatest weakness and greatest asset share the exact same jersey number. Angel Reese's Billboard saga, the players' wage protest, and a looming technical foul suspension all orbit that fact like satellites. Until the league grows multiple magnets of equal pull, every promotional deck will carry a hidden asterisk. Assumes Clark healthy. And that means every brand, every city bid, every broadcast partner has a stake in diversifying the narrative. Fast. Whether that future stars Reese shattering glass ceilings, Buchers draining logo threes, or a brand new rookie we haven't met yet, one truth remains. The league can't afford another weekend where one injury makes the spotlight go black. So ring the bell, drop Baby Giraffe in the comments, and tell me which player you think steps up next. Because the sequel to this story tips off the moment number 22 checks back in.